budget, and is saying here Raila Ruto are eyeing a share. It's 3.3 trillion. Still, are we still living beyond our means? And the most fundamental things is both sides, and this is for both sides. Your side is promising about 100 billion shillings for businesses and SMEs. The Azimio side is promising about 6,000 shillings, which is the social fund. None of that has been incorporated into this budget. So who is fooling who here? Are we all lying to Kenyans?
Well, I think because we are approaching transition from the fourth president to the fifth, and I think this is where we need to come up, maybe amend the law in the future to allow those who are aspiring for presidency to have an input in the budget. But that, that said, there is room for supplementary. When the next president takes over, the next government comes in, they can always initiate a supplementary budget and align it to their manifesto, align it to the promises and the promises they made to the people of Kenya and the way and to their economic model. For us as a bottom up, I think this budget, the way it's going to be done, if it's going to be done as has been the president that has been said before, then we would have to make a lot of changes. But I think what we need to focus on in this budget is seriously our people are suffering. Kenyans are getting poorer by the day. A lot more Kenyans are sleeping hungry. A lot more Kenyans cannot meet their basic needs. We need to focus on how to think about the guys at the bottom of the pyramid. That is what the legacy budget of President Uhuru as he exits office. He should not think of any other mega projects. He should focus a lot of the resources on uplifting the lives of Kenyans and especially on farming. Because once we have taken care of the farmer, that is where the basic foundation is, then we can grow the economy from the bottom up. But I think it's important that those who are writing this year's budget need to sit down and ensure that the figures that they put in, 90% of those figures should be thinking about how to uplift the economy from the bottom up.
Yeah. Wandai, what do you think? Because, you know, in the last budget, we had a deficit of about 108.5 billion, but still, are we still living beyond our means? And where is the social fund incorporated in this?
Well, it is true. We have always had what we call a budget deficit in terms of the revenues that would support the budgetary proposals. Okay? This has been an issue in the past and continues to be an issue really even now. And that's why we resort to borrowing many a time. But I have got no worry whatsoever. The candidate we have in Raila Amolo Odinga of Azimio la Umoja is a candidate with an idea what needs to be done. And in fact, if you look at Raila's plans, especially in dealing with corruption, we are sure within 100 days upon him ascending to power, a lot of things are going to happen such that the revenue collection is going to increase dramatically. Since all those loopholes that people have used to siphon out public funds would have been sealed. And therefore, even if we work on a supplementary budget later, we would have no problem, much problem, getting the revenues to support the programs, including the social protection program, which is very close to his heart, and all our hearts for that matter. So we just pray that Kenyans do the right thing, and give the mandate to Raila Odinga come the 9th of August.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Priscilla, should this be a legacy budget or a stopgap budget of some sorts that we know we are not doing too well, so this is where we need to put our money? Or should it be a legacy budget like what we seem to be seeing?
I think it's a bit of both, in the sense that this budget comes in now when the fourth president has not finished his term. And I personally really favor finishing of projects. We are a country with also many half projects. And you know, half projects, it means that the taxpayers have put in 50% of the resources, but are not able to utilize the project because 50% is not done. So I personally would favor, because a lot of money has gone into infrastructure, let us finish those infrastructure projects. Many of them are at 80%, 90%, 60%. 95% completion. Let us complete them. And not just these ones. I think even CDF, even county government projects, because the taxpayers are paying a lot of money. If you walk around our counties, you find half a market, half a hospital, half a school. And no, half a school is not a school. Half a market is not a market. Half a water project, all of us don't have water because the pipes are not enough. I even prefer that. Why don't you finish water for that village? My village waits, and when those ones drink the water, I can be sure that my village will get water in the next budget.
Yeah.
So I would be happy that this budget is used for completing projects from national level up to the county level, up to the CDF level, that everybody completes the project.
Okay.
If you start a dormitory, you complete a dormitory. Kakitu kako somewhere, sijui kako wapi kwa renta, that's not a dormitory. In fact, what we have now done is wasted the money. So that is one point. The other thing is that there's going to be a change of government and a change of regime from the 4th to the 5th president. For the Azimio, the hope is continuity, but with a difference in terms of the focus on the people and the focus on liquidity. Because what we now don't have is true infrastructure is good, but infrastructure is one part of the story and it creates jobs. But then there must be something moving on that infrastructure. So I think that the next government must concentrate on debt restructuring and must concentrate on economic empowerment and purchasing power of the people of Kenya. And so not build as much in terms of infrastructure, but put a lot more people, a lot more money in people's projects, health, water, economic empowerment of women, economic empowerment of young people. And that is more resources going on to devolution. I personally really support the 35% onto devolution, because if you look at the growth in our country now, the growth is in the counties. So a continuity government, but also a budget that meets the transition and does not leave the projects half done. So I'm with the president in that. Let us not have half-done projects. And this is not new for him. I remember even when we were parliamentarians in 2013, he was telling us always not to do half projects. And I hope that his government does not do half projects. In Nyeri, we have the level 6 hospital in Othaya. We have the cancer, Dedan Kimathi University. So if those projects, we have the Keno Marua Highway, we have the Mau Mau roads. If those projects can be finished, the better, so that now in the next regime, we are looking at industrialization and agriculture and many other forums. But then the members of parliament, one of the fears around budget has always been the budget in an election year suffers attention. So I hope that my colleague here, Opio and I and Caleb, don't suffer attention of budget because of the election, and that the county assembly of Nyeri also does its best. Again, the governors are also in transition mode. So the budget that the counties leave is also what the new governor or the continuing governor is going to come and use. So the most important thing is there. The other thing is this corruption in our budget. And that's why I'm hoping for really, really good leaders. We are still losing a lot of money to corruption. And most of our corruption is actually budgeted for. So I think going forward, we need to elect leaders, including MCAs, who are able to just focus on the budget and make sure that every coin of taxpayers' money is used for the purpose for which it was intended, and you minimize the pilferage and the leaks that we have. In Azimio, you know, we are looking at a corner where we think the more corrupt people are going to. So we hope that there will be no corruption going forward.
Kagusha, what should this budget focus on in your view? Because, and also one thing that Caleb Kosijan brought up is very interesting, that there should be an amendment in the law so that in a transition government and the budget is there, the incoming person, possible incoming person, has an input. This would have been both sides, or is that what the supplementary budget is supposed to address?
Well, I think every presidential candidate should have a say in the coming budget, so that they kind of have a semblance of their policies taken care of in the coming budget. But as that may be, I think what we also need to do is ensure that the supplementary budget serves that purpose. When we come to the new government, the supplementary budget that will be done in December will take care of the new government's policies and will address whatever policies the government will be interested in. What I think this government need to focus on is, number one, this budget need to cushion our farmers and our bottom of the pyramid people. That's need to be much more bottom up inclined, so that we cushion farmers and we cushion people at the very bottom of the pyramid. These are the people who are farming animals, livestock, in the northern part of this country, and they are suffering very serious drought as we are talking today. Their animals are dying. How does the government then put money in the budget to take care of this? This budget must address a mitigation strategies on the impact and the effect of the war that is happening across the borders, so that we have our people taken care of in coming days. We don't have to come back and say, oh, you know, the cost of living has gone high because there was war in Ukraine. No, the government must cushion our people on that. Completion of projects, as Honorable Nyokabi says, is of importance, is very, very important. That let us complete all the projects that are ongoing. And I know, for example, in Mukurweini, we have had a number of roads that are being done. Never mind, they are being done at a slow and snail's pace. We hope that this budget addresses those. You know, the Gekondi Road, which so far has only done 2 kilometers, you know, for the last like 3 years. We have the Ngadi Maseno Road all the way to Gakonya. That has only been graded a few areas. Of course, we have one which we hope will also get sufficient money in this budget, that is coming from all the way from Gaidhombi Kaheti all the way to Gatiki. That one particularly.
The Ishamara?
Yeah, the Ishamara Ngadi one is the one that is being done, is being graded now, and it need to be tarmacked as soon as possible. That money need to be in this budget. And of course, the one for Kaheti Road all the way to Gatiki, I mean, that one need to be done also. So we are going to be looking at this budget to ensure that that money is available, so that those roads can be completed, and so that under whatever circumstances, those roads are done. You know, they are done and completed, because, and when I say those projects, I'm mentioning these, and I know Honorable Adai would also mention as many.
Yes, but I have some.
They are there. There are so many of them in so many places across the country. So we want to urge the government to really put its best forward, its best foot forward to address these projects so that they are all completed. And whatever government that comes on board in the coming year, of course, which will be the Kenya Kwanza, the Hustlers government, will continue with the president's projects, will continue with the projects that have been there in this year and they will be completed. But much more will refocus completely from what we have been having in this scenario. It will focus much more now on the projects that will be empowering the people, that will be putting money in people's pockets. Because the previous governments may have focused on the major, big infrastructural projects, but in coming days, we should also now give attention to the people and the empowerment. And I also want to tell you this, Trevor, that a government that we can be able to trust to do this is a government that is not beholden by interests in this republic. Once a government has become beholden by interests, has become a captive of industry, has become a captive of cartels, have become a captive of taxpayers, I mean, those people who avoid paying tax. In many instances, because the reason why we are not collecting money in this country is because there are some people who don't pay tax, and they're the ones who want to finance some of the candidates in this country. A government that is beholden to those kind of people is not going to deliver at all, and that is why we are saying the hustler government. A government of the people, a government for the people, a government that focuses on the people, the lower of the pyramid, try and lift them to the up of the pyramid. That is a government that is going to be able to deliver a budget that can be able to help the Mwananchi, the Wanjiko, the Atieno, the Anyango, and the people of this Republic of Kenya, the hustler government.
Let me take some quick feedback and then take closing remarks 1 minute each, because we're running out of time. I bring up the feedback so that we see at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's see what you're saying online. Engineer Lazaro says nomination fiasco is a thorn in the flesh for both coalitions. It's a time bomb waiting to explode if not properly handled. Consensus building would have started some times back before collection of nomination fees. Chalu Wood Rosie says consensus should be done on fair and equitable manner. It should not be used to discriminate other candidates. The ground should be consulted before a candidate is picked through consensus. Omwando's Vickery says aspirants, including the weakest ones, guard their home turf while sponsoring violence in opponent strongholds. Additionally, an average voter in this country is too irrational, compromised to make sound decisions on pertinent issues as those who govern them. Amaganga Mustafa says August arrangements will play a role in the party primaries slated for next month. Since it's the IBC register which will be used, it will involve all stakeholders in the game to ensure one is facing a weak candidate from the other camp. CPA Mkoa says 3.3 trillion budget is another indicator that what we are experiencing is an economy, is not about to change for the better. Let's wait and see how the appropriation of 3.3 trillion is done. Okay, that's where we leave it for now. We don't know whether we can sneak in quick closing remarks or that's it. 30 seconds each. Caleb Kositanyi, start with you.
Well, my closing remark is that I have a big problem with a project that was initiated by the NMS, which is the bus park, which is the former railway club. It is, I think, one of the biggest white elephant projects that has been initiated by this government, and it's one investigation should go into it. I think it was not well thought out. They didn't do a test run before construction. They constructed, then did a test run, which was a disaster. And I don't see how that bus park will work with the way it's positioned. Okay. It is money that was being spent in a project that was not worth it for the people of Kenya. It's worth looking into.
All right, Yokavi?
I want to confirm that I will be running for Senate in my closing remarks for the county of Nyeri. I served as the women rep before, and to really look forward to engaging with the people of Nyeri on deepening devolution, service delivery and development, and I will be meeting them in the next so many days until the election.
All right.
And that the good leaders that we elect in the counties are also part of the national conversation. In fact, the budget that we are passing now will not be implemented by the current House. It will be implemented by the leaders that we're going to be electing. Okay.
And beyond that, there's a question here from Dr. Isaac Kalua Green from the Green Party. He says opponents have asked their followers to register as party members in opposing camps so as to vote in unpopular candidates during the nomination to create a chance for their candidates in other parties. What are they going to do about this great danger? Have you heard of something like this?
No, well, those are basically conspiracy theories, if you ask me. Anybody who wants to run for any position should just face the people. In whatever manner it is crafted with the parties. But my point is that I wish to reiterate that the Azimio la Umoja government under President Raila Amolo Odinga will obviously build on the gains, build on the infrastructure that has been laid out by President Uhuru Kenyatta as to implement the 10-point agenda, which is clearly elaborated upon, and key of which, of course, include the Baba Care. So the issue of affordable universal health care is key, is a key plank in this agenda. And the waste not single child. Baba is very, very passionate about education of children, and therefore a lot of this budget is going to be channeled towards the education of every child, and all the other 8 remaining agenda points. Yes, in his very transformative program and plan for the country. Okay. So we just pray that all this comes to pass once, if and when, of course, Kenyans go to vote.
Okay. Gagusha, closing remarks. And have you heard about what Dr. Isaac Kalua Green is talking about?
Well, I've also heard those kind of remarks coming from people who are in this contestation. And I think I keep telling people who are going for party primaries that just bring out your people. Yeah, just convince as many people as possible to vote for you. Otherwise, those allegations that someone is sponsoring to bring a weaker candidate and such, I think if you are a strong candidate, then you have the people. Okay. And just have those people come out and vote. And yes, I'm in the race for Mukurweini, a member of parliament on UDA party. And I would also want to make it clear that our government, the Kenya Kwanza government, the Hustlers government, will complete Uhuru Kenyatta's projects, but then will deviate completely from the political economy arrangement and structure that has been there. We will be on the bottom-up economic model. We will desist and discontinue and dismantle the trickle-down economic model, because it has not helped this country. It has not lifted our people from poverty. So we will be focusing on a new model, the bottom-up economic model that now will be putting money in people's pockets, that will focus on the people who are the bottom of the pyramid, the farmers, that will focus on empowering them, ensuring that they get good prices for their produce, ensuring that they get good medical health and medical care, and ensure that education is affordable and people don't even have to rely on bursaries to get education.
Thank you.
This is Hustler's government.
All right, that's where we leave it for now. Gentlemen and lady, thank you so much for making time. Coming up now is Sporty Monday, right? Yes, right after the break.